for the birth of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Imam that showed us what it meant to be Muslim, and the man who showed humanity what it meant to be human. Amir al-Mu'mineen, the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's goal and target and heavenly abode. The man who we love because we are Shia, and we adore because we are human beings. The man that showed ethics, what it meant to be ethical, and showed humanity, what it meant to be human, and showed love, what it meant to be in love and to love. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is not just a religious figure. And his love is not just the love for religious people like myself and you. Rather, his love is something much more than that, much more sublime, not as limited. Something that transgresses the minds and intellect of human beings. Something that me and you will never be able to comprehend. His love is something that the normal person like myself will never begin to describe. And when it comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen's love, it's much different. You find with all of the Imams, there's a specific love that we have for them. But when it comes to Ali alayhi salam, it's something much, much different. And the question is why? Why is it with Ali, the love is so much different? Why is it with Ali, the Shia falls in love and melts in front of Amir al-Mu'mineen? And the Christian man writes a book by the name of Ali, the voice of human justice. The Jew bows down to Ali and does not know what to say. The Hindu looks at Ali in awe. The Buddhist thinks Ali is Buddha. Nobody understands Ali, but everyone loves Ali. Why? Why is there so much love for Amir al-Mu'mineen? Let's look at this idea of love and we'll begin to understand why everyone loves Amir al-Mu'mineen, and you will help me with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to love, we fall in love with other human beings for two reasons. The first one is purely humanistic, where we look at that individual's characteristics, their attributes, what they stood for, their ethics, their morals, their values, and we fall in love with them for those characteristics that they have. You may not see them, you may not hear them, you just hear about them. The same way we fall in love with the likes of freedom fighters, Imam Hussein, with the likes of Martin Luther King Jr., with the likes of Mahatma Gandhi. We might fall in love with these individuals just for the characteristics that they had and standing up against oppression, which is something that all human beings agree to be correct and good. That's the first type of love. Then there's the second type of love, which is innate. A love that you can't describe. A love that is built into you. Right when you open your eyes to this world, you have that love embedded in you. And we believe the love for Ahlul Bayt, and specifically Amir al-Mu'mineen, is embedded in each and every one of us in that very same way. The same way that we are created to understand and believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are made to believe and love Ali ibn Abi Talib. Same way. Now these are claims. This is just something that Ahmad Bazzi is saying. What is the proof? What's the reason for this? Inshallah, we'll look at that tomorrow, that innate love. But as for the first type of love, the love of character, the love of merit, you find everyone agrees to this. And you find this is something that everyone can connect to. And it's as if I see humanity embodied in a human being, embodied in a person, embodied in a persona, a character, standing in front of Ali ibn Abi Talib, bowing down in humility to Ali, the might of Ali, the glory of Ali, and the light of Ali. This embodiment is looking at Ali ibn Abi Talib and says, teach me what it means to be human. Teach me what the correct human being should be. Teach me about the right human being and his character. And so Ali begins. Ali begins and he starts to speak about the rightful human, the real human, what the human being truly is. And he begins with courage. And what better than Ali to speak about courage? Ali, the one who used to, if he looked at the enemies, they would crumble. Ali, the one who used to raise his hand in the air, and he would not bring it down unless kufr, disbelief, injustice is brought down with his hand. This is Ali. Let me give you one example. The Battle of Khaybar. Ali alayhi salam, Rasulullah, the Muslims are in Medina. The kuffar are coming to attack Medina. What are they supposed to do? One of the companions suggests, dig a trench. Dig a trench, and they're not able to come and get into Medina. So they dig a trench. The Muslims dig a trench. And the kuffar are on the other side of the trench, and the Muslims are waiting for them. They're there waiting to defend. All of a sudden, one of the men emerges from the kuffar by the name of Amr bin Wadd al-Amiri. And back then, let me tell you something. Back then, they used to value the soldier, the warrior, by the amount of men he equates. So Ali alayhi salam, for example, would equate 500 men. For example, he equated much more than that. That's as an example. This individual equated 2 men. This individual equated 10 men. They equated Amr bin Wadd al-Amiri to equal 1,000 men. This is who this man was. This is Amr bin Wadd al-Amiri. He emerges from the band of kuffar, and he finds a kink. He finds a weak spot in the Muslims' plan. He finds a place where the trench, and the trench itself is narrow. So it said Amr bin Wadd goes back and charges towards that narrow area and jumps over the trench. Here the Muslims see Amr and they crumble. Nobody wants to stand up in front of Amr. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stands up. And he says, who will fight Amr? No one stands. The old and the young. The one who stood on Mimbar Rasulullah and the one who used to sweep the floors. All of them sat down. None of them were courageous enough except a young man by the name of Ali bin Abi Talib. Ali stands up and he says, me ya Rasulullah. Rasulullah says, sit down, Ya Ali. And you guys all know this story. But Allah, when I say these stories, I'm filled with pride. And I can say these stories all night long and I wouldn't get tired, I swear to God. With Ali alayhi salam, it's different. Wallah, with Ali alayhi salam, it's different. Ali stands up the second time. Me ya Rasulullah. Rasulullah says, sit down. Rasulullah for the third time. Who is for Amr? Me ya Rasulullah. Rasulullah brings Ali towards him and says, go fight in the name of Allah. So Ali, being a young man, stands in front of Amr, who is on a horse. And Amr, he sees this young boy coming to fight him, man of maybe 18, 19 years of age. Amr, 40, 50-year-old man. He says, who are you? He says, I am Ali, son of Abi Talib. He says, I used to know your father, and he was a good friend of mine. I'm not going to kill you. Look what he says to him. I'm not going to kill you. He belittled Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, I'm not going to kill you. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, you're going to have to fight me. Either this or become Muslim. At least leave. At the very least leave. Either La ilaha illallah or the swords. He says, no Islam. Amr, he used to do something. He used to grant the person that he was about to kill the last wish. So he says, I'm going to grant you your last wish. I'm going to come down from my horse. I'm going to fight you off of my horse. So Amr comes down from the horse and begins to fight Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. They exchange blows, and Ali alayhi salam, as we said, raises his sword and only brings it down to see Amr on the ground. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam has taken off the leg of Amr. Amir al-Mu'mineen goes down to Amr to finish him off, and so what happens? Amr spits in the face of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen gets off of Amr, paces, and comes back and finishes Amr. Comes back to the Muslims. The Muslim says, why? Why'd you pace? He said, when I saw him, I wanted to kill him for Allah. He spit in my face, I was angry, and I wanted to kill him for myself. I stood up, that anger subsided and I came back and killed him for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the courageous man. The man who stands up in front of death and faces death and defeats death, kills death, embodied in Amr bin Wad. And the one who is courageous and stands up to himself. The one who stands up to himself and sees himself about to disobey. Not just about to disobey, to do something that's not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that moment, he makes that decision and defeats himself. Sometimes, the courageous man is not the one who holds the sword, not the one who can throw fists, it's the one who can defeat his inner desires and inner temptations, and that's courage. And that's why Amir al-Mu'mineen is the embodiment of courage. For his love, sallallahu Muhammad wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
This is Ali's courage. He faced himself and faced the opposition. There's one other instance that when I'm speaking about Amir al-Mu'mineen, I love to speak about, and that is the instance of Khaybar. A lot of people know the gist of it, but don't know the details. What happened in Khaybar? Khaybar was a sanctuary for the Jews, a city that had multiple walls and multiple doors. A lot of people think it's one door. No, there was actually 7 walls and 7 doors. The Muslims were in siege with the people of Khaybar, the tribe or the nation of Khaybar. They were in siege with them, and so they were on the outside of the wall trying to get in. The riwayah says they got through the 6 doors and then they were at the final door, the door of Khaybar. The door that 44 hands, or so 22 men, were the ones that had to open it and close it because of how big it was and how heavy it was. 22 men. Where was Ali alayhi salam at the time? It was said Ali had a problem with his eyes. He couldn't see very well. And so he was on the side. He was not with the army. He was not with the other men. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam begins the siege, begins the battle. And he sends who? The first hakim, the first governor. He sends him and he comes back. Fail. He gives the flag to the second one. He goes back. He goes and he comes back. And the riwayah says, رَجَعَ يُجَبِّنُ أَصْحَابَهُ وَيُجَبِّنُونَ. He says, or the riwayah says, he came back calling his people cowards, those who went with him, and they are calling him a coward. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, tomorrow I'm going to give the flag to a man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, and he loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next day comes, all the men, it said, the riwayah says, have their necks out. It's as if they want Rasulullah to see them and pick them. When Rasulullah is about to give the flag to the flag bearer, he says, where's Ali? They said, Ali is sick, he has a problem with his eyes. They said, bring me Ali. They brought Ali alayhi salam. And his eyes, as we said, he couldn't see very well with them. Ramad. He had this disease called the Ramad. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it says, takes from his saliva, puts it on the eyes of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and the disease goes away. He gives them the flag, and he goes towards Khaybar. Now here, a lot of people think he just brings the door and khalas, it's done. No, there's much more than that. There's a lot that happens before. So listen, Amir al-Mu'mineen goes towards Khaybar. He screams, I am the one who's going to destroy you. Come out. Bring someone to me. Bring someone to face me. In Khaybar, there were 2 brothers, the king and his little brother. Who were they? Marhab, who was the king, and Al-Harith, who was his brother, his little brother. He sent out Al-Harith first, and Al-Harith, as we said, would equate 1,000 men, just the same as Amr bin Wad. Al-Harith comes out and faces Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen proves himself and kills Al-Harith. Here Khaybar is starting to shake. Who was their last hope? Marhab. Marhab is the last hope. Marhab, it says, he gets himself ready. He wears his armor. The riwayah says he comes out with 2 swords, with 2 spears, and a stone helmet. Stone helmet. Before Marhab leaves, one of the ahbar, one of the priests, if you would, the rabbis, he tells him, There's a prophecy. What's the prophecy? That a man with the name of a lion will be the one who kills you. A man with the name of the lion will be the one who kills you. And who did he hear? Ali was there. So he's like, I'm going to win this. Marhab comes down, all proud of who he is. He looks at Ali and he says to him, I am Marhab. I am the destroyer of the Arabs. I am the one who equates thousands of men, not just 1,000 men. I am Marhab. Amir al-Mu'mineen looks at him and says, أنا الذي سمتني أمي حيدر. Listen, he says, أنا الذي سمتني أمي حيدر أقليكم بالسيف كيل السندر. He says, I am the one whose mother named him Haydar. I'm the one who's going to put you one over the other like scraps. What's Haydar? The lion. The mother of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Fatima bint Asad, wanted to name Ali Haydar. Name Ali Haydar. But the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came down. And it said, name him Ali. He comes down and introduces himself and says, my name is Ali, but on this battlefield, my name is the lion. And the lion is the one that's going to take you and your nation, the oppressive nation, and bring it to the ground. Amir al-Mu'mineen fights Marhab and kills Marhab. They go into Khaybar and they take over Khaybar. And here's the beautiful part. And here's the beautiful part that shows courage and what it means to be courageous. Amir al-Mu'mineen is sitting down with the companions and they're eating bread. Listen to this. This is the man who took the door of Khaybar, who was not able to be moved by 22 men and threw it aside. He's sitting down. He's eating bread and he's unable to break the bread. So they ask Ali, you just destroyed a door. You can't break your bread. Listen what he says. He says, that was the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in me, and this is my power. This is what I'm able to do as a weak human being. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me. You want true courage? It's not just physical, it's spiritual. Take it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you'll know what courage really means. Sallu ala Muhammad. And that's where the famous lines of poetry come. Famous lines of poetry that say, يا قالع الباب الذي عن هزه عجزت أكف 40 وأربع أقول بمثلك سميدع كلا وحاشا أن أقول بمثلك سميدع. He says, O you Ali, the one who took the door of Khaybar off his hinges, that very door that 22 men were unable to move. Hazzi, move. Do I call you a lion? No. Do I call you a lion from your courage and strength, Ya Ali? No. For you, calling you a lion would be an insult to you. This is Ali alayhi salam. Courage. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is sitting with humanity. And humanity says, Ali, what is justice? And so Amir al-Mu'mineen begins to show him justice. Amir al-Mu'mineen begins to show him justice. This is the man who would be sitting in his office, working on things, working on his work that pertains to the government of the time, his empire. Two men come in, Talha and Zubayr, and they want to speak of some sort of position that Amir al-Mu'mineen can give them. They're looking for the dunya. Amir al-Mu'mineen knows what they want, so he turns around and puts out that one candle and turns on the one to his left. So they look at him, Talha and Zubayr. They say, what is this man doing? He said, what did you just do? He says, this candle was bought with the money of the Muslims. And this one is specific to my work for the Muslims. This one is bought from my own money. And this is specific for your own personal affairs. You want to be part of my government and you want me to give you a lofty position. I know why you're here. Let me set you an example to tell you who are the people that should be running this Islamic ummah. If you are willing to take wax, just a little bit of wax from the Muslimin, you have no position sitting in this place here. This is the justice of Ali. This is the one who used to collect the gold and silver. He used to collect the gold and silver on a piece of cloth. And at the end of the day, he would give all of the gold and silver away. And there'll be bits and pieces on that piece of cloth. Instead of just throwing them away, he would gather them. And even those, he would split them and give them away. These are the money of the Muslims. Ali alayhi salam, the just, the fair, the one who came into Kufa wearing a jacket and told the people of Kufa, he said, look, listen, I'm Ali. If you ever see me wearing a jacket other than this, know that I have stolen from your money. This is Ali alayhi salam. The one who would sleep hungry and would be seen eating stale bread. And so when they asked him, why are you eating stale bread? They said, maybe there's somebody. He said, maybe there's somebody in my ummah who did not have anything to eat. How am I, the father of this ummah, going to eat when this person has not eaten in my empire? Ali, the one that did not distinguish between color, race, and even religion when it came to justice. Because justice does not know religion. Justice knows humanity. If you are a human, you know justice. The one who used to walk in the streets, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and would see the Christian on the side of the road and ask his companions, why is this man begging? And so they said, well, he's just a Christian. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, I'm not going to leave my place until you give this man what he needs. You used him when he was young, and when he was old, you just threw him on the streets. He was a Christian man. This is Ali. The man who put down that golden rule that says, a person is either your brother in faith or equal in humanity. What a beautiful line. What a beautiful line. If you don't share his religion, you share his humanity. The way you want to be treated as a human being, treat this individual. This is Ali alayhi salam. For his love, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Let's have another one. Sallallahu alayhi wa Muhammad. But there's one instance that catches my attention. One, where Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam has taken over Kufa. He has fought the first battle, Battle of Jamal. The second battle, Battle of Siffin, and he came back to Kufa from the Battle of Siffin. And as you may know, in the Battle of Siffin, the army of Amir al-Mu'mineen split in two sides. One of them wanted Amir al-Mu'mineen to kill Muawiyah, and the other ones wanted to make peace. Inshallah, we'll leave it to another lecture to describe exactly what happened. Those who wanted to make peace came back with Amir al-Mu'mineen. Those who wanted Amir al-Mu'mineen to step up against Muawiyah were called al-Khawarij. Some of these came back to the Islamic Ummah and were fine, were normal people, and they repented when they went against Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he made peace. Some of the other ones, they stayed in opposition, and they were called al-Khawarij. And the third battle of Amir